Hey guys, TommyBoy601, and today we're going to talk about Star Wars Battlefront II and the class system that is coming back for the game and what I think each of those classes will contain. So stay tuned to find out. So guys, like I was saying, Star Wars Battlefront II, we are getting the class system back, and I think it's very important for us to discuss what we think those classes will be and how they will interact with each other. Kind of going to go through the history of the classes in Battlefront, also in Battlefield, because this is a game that is being developed by DICE. They have a long history of, in Battlefield, doing class systems and balancing them out in that game. So I think they're going to bring a lot of the elements from that game over into Battlefront to work those classes out. But let's first talk about the old classes from Star Wars Battlefront 2, the 2005 variant of it. In that previous game, we had 6 classes for each faction. 4 of them were standard and 2 were special classes. So the base class was the Trooper class. They basically had a blaster rifle. They could carry 4 thermal detonators or 4 grenades. That was 2 more than any of the other classes. And they were perfectly, they were in the middle as far as speed, stamina, and health. One of the things that varied in the old game was each of the different classes had a varying amount of health and stamina as well as speed. That was a balancing factor between them on top of their weapons. The next class was the heavy weapons class. It consisted of soldiers armed with missile launchers as their primary weapons. These were able to lock on and home in on vehicles. They also had a light blaster pistol for short range. It wasn't very powerful, but it could get you through in a pinch. They also had the highest endurance and defense, but they were slower because of that. They also carried 2 grenades and 2 anti-tank mines. Of course, with that class, not very effective against infantry because you had one shot with the rocket launcher, and it was kind of tough to aim at infantry, so you might get one person, but generally they'd be rolling with other people, so you'd just get knocked out pretty quickly. The next class that was standard overall was the Sniper class. It was equipped with a long-range rifle. Of course, like most sniper rifles, you could take anyone out with a single headshot except for the Droidega of the Separatists. That one required 2 hits. They also had a pistol for defense, and they had an auto turret for close range, like point-on defense, to kind of protect them while they were sniping at the enemy. The last class in the class I played the most of was the Engineer. This was your support unit, pretty much all in all. They had a shotgun was their primary weapon. Then they had an ammo health drop. They were able to throw out ammo and health pack. Then they also had det packs, which served like C4 in the Battlefield series. And they had a repair torch, which they could either heal friendly units, heal friendly vehicles with, repair health and ammo droids, or they could slice enemies out of vehicles and then steal those. All in all, a very fun class to play as. Now, in the new game, they have released what the 4 classes are going to be. They're going to be Officer, Assault, Heavy, and Specialist. We know this because of the pre-order bonuses. It's detailed in the pre-order bonus. So this is what I think they'll do with those classes. Now, first up is the Officer. Now, in the previous game, both the clones and the Imperials had an Officer Specialist class, and I think one of the unique abilities of that person was the fact that they were able to buff players, and I think that might be their role in this game. The buffs could serve as a medic. If they go back to the health system that they did in the previous game, you didn't really need a medic because of how quickly you regen health, but if you had someone that could instantly heal people every 30 seconds within an area, I think that could serve well as a medic role or buff them in some other way. I think also that this person would be limited to pistols only. Now, in the teaser image for that they put out for the classes, we can see what I am going to assume is the Imperial Officer model, and you can see he does have a DC-17 pistol holstered right next to him, and I think that could be one of the weapons that they get. Stuff like the DL-44. We saw in the previous games that pistols can carry their own next to any of the other weapons in the Star Wars universe, so why not make a whole class based around using those pistols? I think another ability that they may have is the ability to call in orbital strikes. Not the orbital strikes that we saw in the previous Battlefront, not the ones that just rain death everywhere, but the very targeted ones that we saw back in the 2005 version of Battlefront, something similar to almost like a mortar strike, very targeted, where if you know enemy is dug in deep, you can call it in right there and get a couple of kills. The next class is the Assault class, and I think this is going to be your bread and butter ground troops. These are the guys who get the E3, the DC-15, the A280C. These are the guys who get the assault rifles of the Star Wars universe. I think they might, if vehicles are going to play such a large role, like they have hinted that they will, I think they may bring back the concussive grenade, give them a anti-vehicle grenade, or an option between a thermal detonator and an anti-vehicle grenade. And then I think what they do, if they go to an ammo system in this game, which they might just to kind of build teamwork and build class dependencies and kind of diversify each class specifically, if they bring into an ammo can as opposed to an overheating mechanic, I think this player gets ammo too. They're able to give ammo to the other players, thereby keeping them in the front lines and essential for pushing up for assaults. The next role is the Heavy. I think he reprises his role as an anti-vehicle. I think that his rocket launcher is a gadget for him. I think his primary weapon is the light machine guns that we saw. Things like the DLT-19, the T-21, or whatever Baze Malbus was using in Rogue One. You saw that like backpack-carried LMG. Whatever that was, I want that in Star Wars Battlefront 2, and I want to use it because it looked badass. Another gadget, he could get a repair torch. He could be able to also repair the vehicles. That way this guy is sitting kind of in the back. He's not pushing up all the way. He's giving that supportive fire. But then if he needs to take out vehicles, he has the ranged ability to do so with the rocket launcher, or he can hang back and heal his own vehicles. I think that might be a very good role for him to be in. Also, if he needed to get ammo for, let's say, his rocket launcher, he then would have to push up to the front to where the assaults are to get ammo from them. The last role is the Specialist, and I think these are your highly trained troops. And I think they get an option between snipers and shotguns. Because one of the issues in previous Battlefield games is that if you had the sniper class, once you got to the close quarters maps, they were either relying on no-scoping or quick-scoping, which isn't that fun, or they were down to pistols, or in previous games they had the all-kit weapons. I don't think we're going to get all-kit weapons in this game, so I think they get the shotguns. That way, these troops are able to choose between either two very highly specialized kind of weapons, either the sniper or the shotgun. Now, I think their gadget, I think if they do a spawn system, they would get the spawn beacon of this game. If they don't, I also think the C4/jetpack, I think they're an excellent candidate for that. That way, 3 out of the 4 units, and almost all the units, have a way of dealing with vehicles, but most of them aren't as effective. I think the Heavy and the Specialist are the ones that are able to get in there and deal with vehicles. The Heavy at long range, the Specialist at close ranges. And I think it could be overall a very nice class balance across all of the classes. So guys, what do you think? Do you think I hit it right on the head? Is this how you think they're going to spread out the classes in this game? Or do you think it's going to be completely different? Let me know down in the comments below, guys. My name is TommyBoy601. I hope you have a great rest of your day. See ya.